Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my theory tuition series where I'll guide you step by step through the ABRSM theory grades. We're really cracking on through this ABRSM Grade 1 Music Theory and Practice Workbook, so you need to have this book to hand to be working through it with me. There are also loads of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, there's free PDF information sheets. They're available in US letter or A4 to accompany each step of this series, and we'll be referring back to those quite often. There's also a page which links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can access all of the information about the books that I have available. I have available this ABRSM How to Take Your Exam, grades 1, 2 and 3. It's an exam technique book that I've written to accompany taking your ABRSM Music Theory exam, and it's full of tips and techniques of how to make the best use of that exam time, because ultimately it's the exam that we're aiming for in helping you to work through this booklet. We're now on to section N, which is the degrees of the scale and intervals. So if you turn in your workbook to page 20, so we're on degrees of the scale and intervals, and if you access those PDF information sheets I mentioned on my website and refer to sheet N, that's the information that we'll be using for this section. You will need a sharp pencil, so either make sure your traditional pencil is super sharp or use a technical pencil, a propelling pencil, and you will probably need an eraser also. Now this section is quite simple so long as you can count to 8, which seems easy enough. However, music theory being what it is, it's not always quite as obvious as it might seem. Nevertheless, it's a pretty simple section to charge through. So I shall just write N here so we know which information sheet we're referring to. So here we are. Let's have a little read at this information sheet that I've prepared for you. It's just posh words explaining very simple concepts really. Degrees of the scale refers to the steps of the note of the scale. So in C major, C is the first degree, D is the second degree, E is the third degree, F, G, A, B, C, and so on, referring to the degrees of the scale. So we could go backwards. 8 is C, B is the 7th degree of the scale, A is the 6th degree, G is the 5th degree, and so on. So we're just literally counting the steps of the scale, which seems pretty obvious, I know. Now then, the intervals refers to the distance between those 2 degrees of the scale. So if we're thinking in F major, F is the first degree of the scale, and then from F, G, A, B flat, C, C is the 5th degree of the scale, and so the interval between the 1st and the 5th is called a 5th, which seems really quite obvious. The only way you can go wrong in this situation is when you're counting the intervals, you must always remember to count number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only error you can make, and it's a simple error to make, is to forget to count 1 and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so you're actually a step out in your interval. However, we've got a little bit of extra information to add to that, because we can refer to these intervals in 2 different ways. When the 2 notes come one after another as if it was in a melody, we would call it a melodic interval. So here, G is the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the 5th, and because the notes become following one after the other, we'd call that a melodic 5th, as if it was in a melody. Let's look at this next example. So here we have D major, so we're going from D, E, F, G, A, B, which is a 6th, but because they come together at the same time like a chord or a harmony, we will refer to that as a harmonic 6th. So number 1 is always the first note of your scale, and we count the distance between the first note of the scale, counting up in steps, and that will give us our interval, and then we describe it as a melodic or a harmonic interval. When you're counting, it's easy to count because you're just counting in steps, line, space, line, space, line, space, and so on. Just being very careful to make sure you count the first step of the scale as given. And really that's it. So on page 20, we're just looking at how that looks actually on the music. So exercise 1 asks us to draw these intervals as prescribed. They've told us that they want them to come afterwards, and so we just got to count, given that that's note 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, counting line, space, line, space. We're in G major here on these two. We've got a key signature of F sharp, says G is our note 1. So G, A, B, C. So G, A, the next door note will be our second because we've gone from first to second. Now we move into C major. So C is our first. So for our third, first, second, third will be the next space up. Next one, we're in F major. So F is our first. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fourth takes us to this B line. And the key signature already deals with the fact that it's a B flat. So you go on and have a go at the next row and just have a go at naming those intervals. Don't forget to always count your given note as note 1, and then it's easy to count in step up the lines and spaces. So press pause and have a go at that. So let's just check over those. We're in D major. D is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the C. And the key signature deals with the fact that that's C sharp. You don't have to worry about that. Your key signature does all that work for you. Here G is 1 and we need a fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're on the middle line, which is D. We're in D major now. D is our first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so the sixth is B. And then an octave is 8 notes apart, and actually you just know that from F, the octave is going to be the next F up. If you want to double check that, you can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But an octave is your key note again from F to F in this case. So here's that information about melodic and harmonic intervals again. Just something to bear in mind if you're drawing harmonic intervals, because they do stack together as a harmony or a chord. However, the second, because they're so closely placed together, it's not possible to stack them together. If you did so, they'd overlap, and so it won't work. We've run out of space, so we just have to squish those touching side by side to make that harmonic interval. Okay, so in exercise 2, we're literally just counting these intervals. They've asked us to give the number of each of these melodic intervals. So they've drawn it, we just need to name it. And you just count the number and then you put RD or TH as if you were writing the date. It's the same principle there. So we're counting in F major. F is note 1, so always remember to count that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Space line, space line. So have a go. We'll do this one together and then I'll just leave you to get through to the end of this page. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a seventh. Oh, shall I do that again? Seventh. That wasn't that tricky, was it? Okay, because if you're thinking F, G, A, B, C, D, E, there's our seventh. So you can either count the letter names if that helps, or you can just count the numbers. So have a go at the rest of this page, and then we'll come back to mark it together. So I'm presuming you've had a little go at that. Let's check these through together. So F to G, 1, 2, that's a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a fifth. 1, 2, 3, that's a third. And then F to F is an octave. You can either say eighth or octave, 8 VE, it's up to you. You want to double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Now we move into G major. The fact whether it's treble or bass clef, and actually whatever key it is regardless. You just count your bottom note as number 1. So although it's good to be aware of what's going on here, in terms of how to work out the intervals, it really makes no difference. You just count 1, 2, second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. 1, 2, 3, third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4th. There we go. I hope that's been helpful to you. So really that's the principle of it. We've got a few more examples to go over. We'll try that in the next video. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. That'd be fab. That'd be encouraging to me. If you subscribe to my channel, then you'll be sure not to miss out on all the fab things I've got in store. And please do go to sharonbill.com and access all the resources that I've made available to help you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.